Hello, greetings and salutations, citizens of the internet. I am recovering from my first and only tooth abscess. It was over here. The swelling is going down slowly. And one of the chief things that this experience has taught me is that I am so divorced from my own body, and specifically from pain. I just block it out until things get very serious, and that is not actually great, because if I wait until things get very serious, then suddenly they're very serious. And if I attend to things like discomfort and minor pain, if I were to notice those things when they were minor, I could stop them from becoming serious problems. Right. So I don't know if there's less fluoride in the water down here than there was where I grew up, but I never used to have cavities. I have cavities now. And there was one, ironically, I had a cavity up here that was causing pain, and instead of fucking going to the dentist, I just started chewing on this side, because I don't like the dentist. I have medical trauma. I have, like, I had 6 wisdom teeth. And when I was 15, 5 of them they were all cystic and they were all impacted, meaning they were inside of my jaw, and underneath them there were cysts in there too. When I was 15, I got 5 of them removed, and like a couple of days before, my mom was like, hey, so it's gonna cost like extra money for you to get nitrous, so we're not going to give you it. Okay? It's just like, what am I gonna say? No? So, and I do this thing with people in general, but it's really bad in a medical setting where, if they ask if it's like numb enough, I will say yes if I know that they want me to say yes. If I know that they want it to be numb enough, then I'll be like, surely I can just say that it is, and I can handle that. They took a hammer and chisel to my teeth, and like I was initially trying to cling to a silver lining, like, well, I'll keep them, I'll do something fun with them, but there was nothing left. They were in shards and just like shreds of blood and flesh, like on this apron. And then of course I didn't take anything like Tylenol or ibuprofen beforehand, and the Novocaine wore off before the Percocet kicked in, and that might have been not as bad as my appendix rupturing inside of me and the peritonitis that came afterwards, but it was very bad. I was screaming. I didn't get to screaming here. I'm getting there. Got a filling a few weeks ago, and the dentist was like, it's a really big cavity. It might start hurting, and if it starts hurting, like, talk to me. We'll handle it. And it's not like it didn't hurt. It's just like, I think that I'm very used to pain. So when, like, it has to be like a pretty high on, I think, most people's pain scale for me to register it as pain and not a minor discomfort. But hold on. But I have been feeling progressively worse over a period of weeks, and this is a problem, I didn't do a lot of like systems analysis. I didn't do a lot of diagnostics. I didn't do a lot of like, okay, let's look at these things and see if any of them might be the root cause of this, because I always assumed that the root cause of me feeling bad is me being bad. And then, of course, I attribute it to like drinking too much, because I guess I was. And then I stopped doing that too, and it wasn't helping. And I was like, maybe if I eat more. I was eating more, and then I was actually gaining weight. And it was just like, I don't like that I'm gaining weight. I'm also not getting more energy, and it's not helping. Everybody say hi to Scout. She's back there. She had to stay. Well, I'll get there. So on last Saturday night, a friend came over. We do a paint night every Saturday night, but I was just not feeling it, and it's really hard to describe because like it's like if I'm feeling bad or even maybe pain, like I just refuse to acknowledge it or think about it, and that oh poor girl, did you guys hear? Hey, good girl, we'll go soon. But like I was tired. I just didn't feel like engaging. I just wanted to lie down. So I did lie down for most of the time that she was there, and that really sucked. I did not want to be lying down. I wanted to be there, participating and painting and talking and having fun. And then that night, I was woken up by this just. You know how something can ache so much that it starts to sort of sear? Like it's not sharp, but it almost becomes sharp because of how deep the ache is. It was really, really painful. And like I was slathering my tooth with Orajel and like holding ice up to my face, and I was, like um popping ibuprofen. But it was so like I started to cry at one point because it was so bad, and I was like just talking to myself. It's like, it's okay, you're gonna call your dentist in the morning, it's gonna be fine. um and it wasn't until the next day that I actually saw myself in the mirror, because I wasn't really paying attention to that kind of thing. But my jaw was like, one person said it looked like I had eaten a handful of bees. What was the other one? I don't remember. Oh, I swallowed a golf ball. And yeah, like it was just a huge lump. Um, and the dentist actually, like, I left a message on his machine. He actually got back to me on Sunday, which was really cool. I went by his place just so he could look at it on Monday morning, and he prescribed something more than ibuprofen for the pain, which was a lifesaver, because like sometimes your root canal's not until Wednesday, and your jaw is like crumbling due to infection that is very nearly went septic. But it was fine. I'm still almost done with the amoxicillin. The swelling is going down. I got the root canal. Thank fuck for my family for funding that, because normally I'd be like, when I was discussing it, I was like, well, we have to yank it. Like, I can't afford a root canal. And the dentist was like, you're running out of molars on that side. Like, you need to still be able to chew. And like, I'm happy that I look young, but like on the inside of my mouth, not so much. So I got the root canal, and I actually told them when I wasn't numb enough. And when I asked for nitrous, they gave me nitrous. There wasn't enough, and so I asked them to up it, and they did. Nobody got mad at me. Nobody said no. So that made it. Also, it wasn't nearly as painful as like what woke me up. Since then, I didn't realize how severe the infection had gotten. But like that's why I haven't had energy for like a minute. And that's coming back slowly, but I'm trying to give myself as much rest and shit as before. Scout had to stay with my parents for almost a week, and she came home yesterday, and we have been a little bit inseparable since then. You wanna come up? Hey Scout, 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 come on, say hello, please. Good girl. She's being a good sport, even though it's been like an hour and a half since her last visit to the outdoors. And her time away made me realize just how important she is to me. Because, like, especially when I'm not feeling good. Oh, that was another thing. I read an article today, I think in Scientific American, about how childhood trauma is now like neurophysiologically linked to anhedonia, which is the inability to experience pleasure, which is one of my most significant symptoms that has always been attributed to depression, which I do believe I have. But the more research comes out, the more it seems like maybe not most people, but certainly my mental illness had, like, fine, we'll go here. So if you're familiar with epigenetics, or if you're not familiar with epigenetics, I'll go there. So we've all got genetic blueprints or whatever. And sometimes epigenetics, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor, I'm probably wrong about at least one thing I'm saying here. But there are certain genetic tendencies that it's almost like the gene gets turned on. Trauma is one of those. Like some people have epigenetic markers of PTSD, but they're not going to actually form PTSD unless they're traumatized. That usually that one speculation is that has to do with epigenetic markers that are dormant until triggered. Think Magneto in the in the first scene of X-Men First Class, maybe. And yeah, like, it's not like I was regularly beaten. My childhood compared to most childhoods was idyllic in many ways. However, like, a significant breach of trust early in life to do with my primary caretaker, and then the, like, rupturing of my appendix and, like, all of that shit. Not to mention the whole, like, horrific test with the catheter insertion shit, which is, I think, in another video that I cover. Like, it makes sense that I ended up being really fucked up, especially since things like mental illness wasn't something that anybody wanted to admit was in either side of my family, even though it was in both. And yeah, I don't know. It's been a hell of a week. Oh, what was the other thing? There was another thing that links trauma to... Oh, yeah, the trauma to anhedonia. Childhood trauma to anhedonia. But there was another one. Whatever. It's 12 minutes long. It doesn't need to be any longer. But yeah, so that's, like, recently what I've been up to, and I've been kind of hard on myself recently because I haven't been writing, I haven't been making very much, and now I know why. It's because I was suffering from a really bad infection. Like, one former EMT friend mentioned that, like, it probably was almost septic based on the swelling alone. And I'm worried that the bone swelling might not go down, which would suck. Because, like, I mean, no, that's probably not going to happen. It's probably going to be fine. I'm only 37. I can heal just fine. I've rhymed fine with fine. What am I doing? All right, bye.